Okay, today we're going to learn how to do angle construction. To do that, we will need something very important. It is what we call a compass, right, over here. Okay, just make sure that the pencil that you're using is very, very sharp. Okay, if you use a blunt pencil, you're going to have lines which are not very accurate. Okay, once we have this tool, we are ready. So let's take a look at the question now. We are looking at example 7.4.1. Right, so the line AB is already drawn. Part A asks you to construct the perpendicular bisector of AB. The perpendicular bisector consists of two words. The first word being perpendicular, it means 90 degrees. And the second word is bisector, which basically means you're going to draw a line that's going to divide the line AB into two equal parts. So if we combine them together, we're drawing a line which is 90 degrees to AB and divides the line into two equal parts. Okay, so let's look at the line itself. The first thing we need to do, right, AB, is to measure out a distance which is about 2/3 the length of AB, right? Remember, at least 2/3. Okay. Once you're done, we're going to put the sharp end at point A, right? And we're going to draw an arc just above AB, right? And another arc below AB. Take note, we are not going to adjust the length of the compass at this time. Right? Once we're done with the two arcs, we will now put the sharp end at B now and do the same. You're going to put an arc on top, right? And another arc below. Okay, once you are done, right, make sure you see two axes, okay? One on top and one at the bottom, right? These 2 points are the points that you are going to use to draw a perpendicular bisector. So take your ruler, okay, ensure it's the transparent end. Make sure that you can draw a line that passes through both axes, right? And then we will draw a line. Okay, feel free to extend the line as long as you want, that's okay. Right, and we are done with part A. But always remember to label the perpendicular bisector and the question part A. Okay? If you want to check your answer and you have some time, you can use a protractor, right? And we will just measure the line to make sure that the line that you have drawn is 90 degrees to AB. Okay, at this point you can see that it's 90 degrees, so everything is good, right? Okay, so once we are done, we can start doing part B. Drawing the line AC equals to 7.3 such that BAC is 30 degrees. Okay, at this point of time, you have a choice. You can first choose to draw the 7.3 centimeter first, or we can draw the angle first. Right, in our case, our suggestion to you is to maybe draw the angle one first. Right, so let's take our protractor. Remember, BAC will be from B, A, and C should be around this portion. Right, so let's place the protractor at A, because A is the center letter, right? It's the vertex, remember? Okay, so make sure it's exactly along the line, because you have already learned how to use a protractor. Okay, read off 30 degrees. Okay, take a look very carefully. Okay, so you mark a point, right, at 30 degrees, and then we no longer need the protractor. Next, we take out a ruler, right, and make sure you can draw a line from A to the point that you have marked, right? And then we'll just draw a long line all the way. It's okay to extend the line, it's fine. Okay, so we will label this BA, the angle over there, label it as 30 degrees, right? We're still not too sure where C is, but that's where the other piece of information comes in, right? AC is 7.3 centimeter. So what we need to do is take out a compass, okay? And we will measure out 7.3 centimeters. Okay? Take note, we are not just going to use a ruler and measure out 7.3 centimeter. We will need a compass, right? So measure out 7.3 centimeters. You can do it this way using the transparent side. Okay, once you're very sure it's at 7.3 centimeters, okay, we will now put the sharp point at A, right, and we're going to draw an arc onto the 30-degree line that we draw earlier, right, and then you will see that it cuts the 30-degree line. That point over there is point C. Okay, so remember to mark out the point C. You can mark the point out with a small little cross over here, right, and remember to label C. Okay, and we are now done with part B, right? If you want, you can also write down the length of AC as 7.3 centimeters, right? Because that's what's given to you in the question. Okay, let's now move on to part C, right? Part C now of the question. Part C asks you to construct a line that is equidistant, right? Please highlight or underline equidistant from AB and AC. Okay, if there's a line that is equidistant from two other lines, right, actually what the question is asking for is an angle bisector, right? So you may want to write this down. If you are constructing a line that is equidistant, which means the same distance away from two other lines, you are actually constructing an angle bisector, right? So now we're going to teach you how to draw an angle bisector, which is for part C. Okay, so first of all, we will put the sharp point at A, right? Sharp point at A, and we'll measure just a very, very small angle. Let's adjust the compass. Okay, just a small angle, okay? A small... Okay, this length is about right. We will now we will draw an arc to cut the line AC, right? And without adjusting the length of the compass, we're going to draw an arc at AB. Okay, good. At this point of time, you can either change the length of the compass or choose to remain the same. Okay, our recommendation is to let it remain the same. Okay, so at the two arcs there, at the two different lines, we're going to put the sharp point at one of them, okay, make sure it stays, and we will now draw an arc outside, right, outside. Okay, so let's draw an arc there. Okay, so once you place your sharp point at the other side, we're now going to draw another arc. Make sure that the length is the same. Okay, now you will see a beautiful X right there. Right, so that is the point that we're going to use. Okay, so now let's place a ruler at point A to the point in which the two arcs meet, right, and trace a straight line, right, and then we're going to draw a very long line now, all the way. Okay, and this will be your angle bisector, right, which is also what we're trying to find in part C. So let's label this line, part C. Okay, and we're done. Okay, let's move on to part D now. Part D, we're supposed to mark and label a point M such that it's equidistant from point A and B, and also equidistant from the line AB and AC. Okay, I know it's a very, very long instruction over there, but if we break it down, the first part of the information basically asks, or rather tell you, that the point M, right, lies on the perpendicular bisector which you have drawn earlier, right? Because if it's equidistant from point A and B, it must lie on the perpendicular bisector. So let's write this down as part of the information, right? And the second part is also equidistant from the line AB and AC, which actually also means it has to lie on the angle bisector that we have drawn earlier in part C. So if we combine both information together, point M must therefore lie on the intersection between the perpendicular bisector and the angle bisector. Okay, of course, in the examination, you're not expected to write all this down, but We are writing this down so that you can be reminded of what is given to you in the question. Okay, so let's look back at the diagram that we have drawn. Let's identify where the angle bisector and the perpendicular bisector meet. Right, so if you trace it, right, the point is exactly here. Right, again we can mark it with a small cross. Right, and let's label it as M. Okay, and we are done with part D. Right. Okay, you may want to label the question number as well. Okay, the last one. Find the reflex angle BMC. Take note, the most important word in that question is reflex. Okay, so reflex angle, recall, is an angle between 180 to 360 degrees. Okay, so please write this down, reflex angle. So in the event that you calculate your angle and you didn't get that value, you know you're on the wrong track. Okay, so let's look at reflex angle BMC. You'll notice something. You notice that there are no lines connecting B and M, and there are no lines connecting M and C, right? But since we are supposed to find the reflex angle, please use dotted lines to join the lines BM right, and MC. This will help you calculate or find the value of the reflex angle. Okay. At this point of time, you realize that your protractor can only measure values from 0 to 180, right? It's only from 0 to 180. So in order to find the reflex angle, we should try to find the acute angle first, right? So let's take the protractor and start measuring the acute angle. Okay, you just read off from the protractor and you will get 84 degrees. Okay. But of course, that's not the answer we are looking for, right? Because we're looking for the reflex angle BMC. So in order to find it, we can do a bit of calculation and we can write reflex angle BMC equals to 360 degrees minus 84 degrees. Right, and this will give us 276 degrees. Okay, and this ends part E as well as the end of the question. We thank you for watching the video and hope you have a nice day.